Hello and welcome back. In this lesson, we're going to utilize the function node to simulate some data that we can use to complete the rest of the course. Of course, if you have another data source, feel free to utilize that, but this simulated data should do the trick to help us learn the basics of an IoT workflow. So the first thing I'm going to do is clear my debug here. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit to give room for the function node. And I'm going to drag that function node in until I see this line become dotted and let go to allow that to become part of the flow. As you can see here, it is now connected. So let's go ahead and open this function node. And as you can see right now, all we have is just return message. So what we want to do is configure this message to be our simulated data. So if I deploy this and run it now, as you can see, it just returns the message that it's already getting. So basically, the timestamp comes in as message.payload. The function just returns message. And then the debug returns message.payload. So it just passes through. But we want to transform this. So let's go ahead and open that function node. And then if you check the course resources, you can see the script that we're going to use. Let's go ahead and paste that in, and we'll go over it. Let's go ahead and paste that. And this is pretty much basic JavaScript. As you can see, we've got a payload item here, part of the message. We then have a payload.temperature, which then returns a .reading, which is essentially a random number between 325 and 360. It's a little bit of a weird function here, but it's not too crazy. Basically, all that's happening is we're ensuring that we get a number between 325 and 360 that is a whole number, which is why we're using math.floor. So that works out exactly the way we want. Let's go ahead and click Done and deploy, and let's make sure we get what we're looking for. So if I click this inject button, as you can see, we now have a temperature object in our message.payload. And if I continue expanding that, we can see our temperature reading is 349. And if I click here to pin that open, I can click this again and we can see that it's always open. Now the other thing I can do is open the message.payload here, and I can say message.payload.temperature, just like so. Click Done and deploy. Let's go ahead and clear that debug window and let's click Insert again. As you can see, we're now just getting the reading. I can even drill down further and do .reading if I would like, and deploy, and click again. And now we just have the reading. So that's perfect. Let's go ahead and change this debug back for now to message.payload. And click Done and deploy that. And let's click Insert again. Perfect, we're back to what we had before. So once again, our timestamp, although it says to insert a timestamp, is actually being overridden by this function to instead return message.payload, which consists of our temperature readings. And then we've just got our normal debug here that is outputting that to our screen. All right, perfect. So that's all for this lesson. Go ahead and mark it complete. Come on back to the next one and let's continue building.